Young guys, John here from Warrior Spirit Martial Arts. I've just had the privilege of speaking with Les Bubka. The man needs no introduction, but he's the founder of Karate for Mental Health and Les Bubka Karate Jutsu. We spoke at length about the important topic of mental health and how the martial arts can help to supplement professional care. We discussed how to create an inclusive class environment, how to take care of your own mental health, and the importance of openness and honesty in our communication. I really enjoyed it and I learned a lot, and I'm sure you will too. So let me hand you over to Les and me. All right, Les, how are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Good to see you
Good.
again.
Yeah, and you too. So, guys, if you're watching this, there's no doubt you already know who Les is. If you're watching my stuff, then you know who Les is already. Yeah. So, if for those who haven't seen your stuff, which is very unlikely at this point, just give like a super quick introduction about who you are, what you do. They know already, so keep it as brief as you want.
I'm from Poland. I'm stranded in UK for several years now, doing martial arts, focusing on the mental health, and doing non-traditional karate.
Good, non-traditional. Yeah, I like that. it's traditional, non-traditional, right? Because that's one of the as you'll know, one of the things that kind of bugs me about stuff is people calling traditional martial arts traditional when it's not like the martial arts they traditionally did, right?
Yeah.
So so the main thing we're going to talk about today, guys, is like martial arts and the mental health, right? Because that's what Les specializes in. He's got his whole program, Karate for Mental Health. So why don't we start with how do you use your martial arts for well, let's start with your students' mental health, and then we'll get to yours. So how do you use it for your students' mental health?
Yeah, so we've got I started with working with a charity called the Welcome Project. We started teaching karate there, and we had about 10 students starting, and then it kind of dropped down to 5, and then they shut down the project. We moved on to the new charity, where with them try to help people. And that's during the lockdown was shut down as well, so I decided to go on my own and created the Karate for Mental Health program, where we've got a bunch of students training with us. The issues with mental health is interesting one, because we've got pretty much every condition in our club. So starting with me, an anxiety, we've got a depression, we've got anger issues, we've got a addiction, plus we've got kind of underlying problems on the mental health, with people who suffer with illnesses and disabilities. So we've got the deaf person, we've got the MS person, and those things impacting their mental health. So it's kind of broadly addressing the issues. And just having a good training, it helps to de-stress and relieve some of the anxiety. For example, hitting pads is a great therapy in its own. Just release that emotions you're holding in, and have a structure in training helps a lot as well. So through the structured training and control failure plus a physical workout, we're trying to build people up.
That's good. Yeah. So I mean, it's a well-known thing that physical exercise is good for physical mental health. The better you feel, the better you feel, right? So you hit on something there with hitting pads. That's always a good stress management tool, right?
Yeah.
And effectively, it's a good way of channeling any sort of aggression that you're carrying around with you, and putting it into a sort of constructive way of hitting the pads, instead of like, other ways, not necessarily just hitting physically people, but hitting out against them emotionally and all that kind of stuff, right? So it's a good reliever there. So with regards to your own mental health then, so how have you found, so you've written the book, Anxious Black Belt, right? It's a really good read for anybody who hasn't checked it out yet. Super. It's important because what I like about it is how like open and honest it is. Yeah. It's one of the things about mental health these days is that people, in my opinion, we're getting there more and more, but people on the one hand are afraid to talk about it, and on the other hand, there's people who almost don't believe that it exists. Do you think? Yeah. So the more people that are putting content out there that is honest and open, I think it kind of encourages the conversation, right? People are you be honest, it leads other people to being honest, and it gives them an avenue to let out. So let's talk a little bit about your mental health, Anxious Black Belt, the book, and how you found your training has helped your stuff.
So we kind of have to start. I think it's pretty much the same all over the world, but I was born in the 80s in Poland, and world mental health didn't exist. If you've been either described crazy or not right up there, and association is, I think, through media as well, movies. If you think about mental health and movies, straight away you've got the image of Chainsaw Massacre, mom stabbing you with a knife, or some kind of criminal activity in relation to mental health, right? That's the minor percentage of it happens, but it's a minor percentage of people who suffer with mental health. But the whole kind of stigma around it, it was there 100%. Nobody was talking about it. If you had a mental health problem, you've been put away, so nobody see you. So mostly with whatever happened to anybody, it was get over it, just get on with your life and pretend that never happened. So therefore, I never been diagnosed with anxiety. I thought that's kind of a normal for everybody. So through few events, like we've been robbed, and I let the robber into the house and helped him search for a car battery. Well, I was maybe 7, 8, so it was easy to call trustful person. So it just happened. But that kind of spiraled down my not great relationship with my dad, the anxiety issues. I then didn't want to go to school and stuff like that. So just try to kind of navigate and be left alone and avoid everything around me. So, don't go shopping, don't go to school. I become really good in forging my mom's signature, because at that time in Poland, you can have a note from mom. I don't feel very well. By your mom, give it in school after you returned, and all was good. So mostly my parents went to work. So my brother and I would been from 7 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the evening alone. So I just stayed at home, have a note for the next day. And eventually they caught me, but, didn't stop me much. So because of that, I missed a lot of classes. But then one of my friends, I actually started karate when I was 12 or 13. I don't remember much of it, but then I had the injury with my shoulder. I stopped training. Then all the anxiety built up, and I didn't want to do anything. And one of my friends dragged me into the dojo, which I stayed till 2-3 years ago, and discovered karate. And slowly it started to building me up through the challenges and the control failure. So you come into the dojo, you do something, you fail, you see other people doing it, you are encouraged, have a positive feedback from people, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. Then you get better, and retrospectively you look at it and I came being very bad, well, look where I am now, and look what's ahead of me. So with that control failure and support, you move on. And that's the way I've been built it up and developed that mentality of head-on collision. So if I think that I can't do something, I just go and do it and see. And usually, we've got that image in the head that is going to be the worst thing happening. Usually 90% of time, 100% of time is not as bad as I imagine it, and 90% of times it turns up to be really good. So head-on collision for me, always.
That's it. I like what you said there about that it always it's always worse in your head than it's going to be, right? And I did a post about it not long ago because I was I was in my head a little bit about some opinions that I'd seen online, and so it's always it's never a positive upward spiral. It's always a negative downward spiral in your head, right? And that's the thing. It's I think everybody, one way or another, is walking around with some sort of baggage, whether it's mental health, personality disorder, and there's all these people, and like you said, even with conditions that I've thought that I've had in the past, and I've even been in kind of like really toxic, borderline abusive relationships, and I've just assumed that was normal for everybody. You just kind of take it, you just kind of deal with it. But I think the more, again, going back to it, the more honesty, the more conversation there is on it, the more people go, all right, okay, so that isn't normal, that is a condition. You know what I mean? Great. So all of that you just discussed is in The Anxious Black Belt, isn't it? So
Yes.
Yeah, like I said, guys, it's a really good book, and I'll post a link to it in the comments or whatever for this as well. Yeah. So let me see. So with a mental health focus in your class now, all of our clubs, or on the whole, martial arts clubs ought to be teaching hitting pads and that kind of stuff as well. So how do you specifically tailor your program to have a martial art, to have a mental health focus?
How do I do that? It's kind of, you cannot build in a such way that we think about techniques. There's no something you're coming in and, okay, today we're doing an anxiety building way out.
Yeah.
Depression. It have to be a kind of flawless process or flowing process. So the main things for me is to be as inclusive as I can, as understanding as I can, and as supportive as I can. It also, when people coming in, they need to feel at home. So for me personally, when people come in, and I know, sometimes I know that people coming from referral from the mental health charity, or friend brings a friend and lets me know, listen, this is something happened, maybe disabled, maybe suffering with this, maybe you've got a low self-esteem. So I always try to show my weak side. So I start the conversation and I actively drive it into, I know it sounds bad, but me, but in a way of, listen, I started when I was very anxious. I had this problem and I found support in the group who was teaching me. And that's what I want to encourage here. So if you've got any issues, you don't need to talk about it. But if you want to, you can open up. We try to create a safe environment so there is no kind of group. You know, sometimes when you go into the dojo, you've got subgroups and nobody wants to talk with you. So you feel kind of isolated. And so I try to encourage my guys that, you know, when somebody new comes in, there's that procedure that everybody goes and welcome those person. But I don't want it to be a fake, oh, hi, blah, blah. I encourage in my students, and I think they're picking up from how their teachers behaving. If I'm open to other people, it spreads around the dojo, you know, people mimicking you. So in my dojo, I'm very fortunate that whoever walks in, even if I'm busy doing something, there's always somebody welcoming. And, you know, if somebody comes in, we stop the class, we say hello and try to welcome, and we try to always show the support. It's like I was talking on my podcast the other day, we had the kind of mini meltdown of one of our students because he had a really bad day. That's all come out later, but you know, he started crying because I told him to hit me with the pads, so kind of pain on me, and he just suddenly went, you know, I don't want to hurt you. Well, I said, well, it's not about hurting, it's about training. So you don't hurt me. I didn't tell you to knock me out. I just want you to tap me. But you have to be responsive. So there was no get on with it, start hitting pads more, or, you know, stop crying. We just, you know, the guys went to one corner. I went take it away, so don't make him embarrassed in front of the other people. Had a chat, done some breathing exercises from kata, calm down, have a chat, explain everything clearly. And he carried on with the training. You know, it took 3 minutes to get over the crisis, but the atmosphere was clear. He felt supported. Nobody judged him. Nobody made the bad comment, you know, oh, look, this one crying there. Yeah. Everybody was supporting. You're right. Okay, let's carry on now. We would change pairs more often, but at the moment we can't. So we're in the back. So he had to be stuck with me. But, you know, you need a break, you take a break. So that non-judgmental support is the key in my class, and making everybody welcome, you know.
Yeah, that's one of the big things, is making sure that everybody's welcome and available to, you know, you've got to make people feel at home, and like I said, safe in your environment. So I think what you said there as well about sort of what you had to do with your student there is you had to work and accommodate to his specific needs there and then, right? And a lot of it comes down when I'm dealing with students who have like additional needs, or you know, they've got anxiety issues, or you know, autistic or something like that. You have to make amends, not make amends, but you have to make amendments in class for them to be able to feel comfortable.
I'm just going to shut the window because somebody started cutting grass.
Okay.
You can edit that or keep it.
Yeah, we'll keep it in. So you make amendments to the class, you know, for the people who need it. And as well, one of the other important things to sort of encouraging that sort of inclusive environment is how you get other students, because they know, right? They've been there as well. They've been there for their own reasons. So it's important for them to let the other people know, you're welcome, I'm here with you as well. Yeah. And that's one of the things that I like to do with my class. It's we used to, there was a time when our culture was a little bit you know, us and them, where some people didn't like working with other people, and if you had a new beginner class, other people didn't like working with the new beginners and everything. But we went on a, you know, like a campaign behind the scenes of ensuring that new beginners were paired with some of the older people, and so on and so on and so on. And then they've been brought up in that culture of, well, I've been helped, so I'll help the new beginners as well, right? Because we all need to feel safe and included there.
Yeah, I've got a problem with all that inclusivity. So I was part of the, I won't say the names, but disability organization, yeah, and they've been promoting inclusion by excluding people. So the classes were for disabled. You need to do classes for disabled. How that is inclusive? You're getting the people who are different abilities. I hate disabled people, and you excluding them from society, put them physical disability here, mental disability there, people who are less suffering or different way of suffering there, and they not mixed together. How that inclusion works?
It's
for me, I don't do separate classes. It's my job to adjust the class so everybody can do something. But I want them to be together. And a good example is we've got a warming up game with cones. So you throw cones, half of them is top up, half of them is top down, and two teams have to put them together. It's never ending game because there's no way anybody win. But if I've got for example, Jason, who cannot bend down, cannot run because his MS really damaged his legs and balance, he is the judge. Or he's he's doing counting or whatever he needs to do, but he is within that group. He's got an important job there. He's not left, sorry, you can't bend down. You go there and, you know, look at the corner. So I'm trying to bring everybody in. And as well, you know, I think this was the most difficult part of the job, showing your own vulnerability. Sorry, I can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
Show your soft side. If people seeing you being weak and struggling with something, even if I don't have a problem with stuff and I see people struggle, I make mistakes on purpose. So just it happens a lot. I just do mistakes because that's the way I am. So I show some techniques, and I want to show them, listen, I'm doing this for 25 years, my style of karate. I still do mistakes. It's normal. You know, don't get let down by it. It's gonna get better, but you need time. And even then, you know, especially with my elderly, they come in, you know, doing kata, start learning kata at 80. Oh, I can't do it. And then, you know, I'm doing something, and especially with the meditation, I kind of drift away. And sometimes I just forget the whole section of the kata. And they're going, hey, where's that gone? You went to do this and this. And I say, you see, you know the kata. I made a mistake. So don't worry, just let it go.
It's good that you too many martial arts instructors in my experience tend to have to appear perfect, right? We have to be the model of perfection. If I make a mistake, like, oh no, I can't be seen. What happened there? I didn't make a mistake. I was showing you a different way of doing it. Do you know what I mean? So That's one of the things. I'm famous in my class. I mess up all the time. People mess up, right? And we've got to own it, right?
Yeah,
You got to say, yeah, I messed up. Fair enough. We do it. It happens.
and he's a great icebreaker. You've got the really straight on seminars, especially. You've got the very stressed people because they want to perfectly do stuff. There's people they don't know, so everybody wants to show the best way. If I do something stupid going in, that immediately relaxing everybody.
Yes.
I was really afraid of that myself, showing that I can do something wrong. I can be a human. I'm not the perfect sensei. But since I just break that in my head, people need to laugh, people need to relax. And the best way to do it is to do something which they don't expect from the person of authority. How better you learning from a teacher who is funny, cracks the jokes and don't take him seriously, than a person who goes with the ruler and whacks your hands.
Yeah. It's one of the I think it's Ian Abernethy who says the quote, we take what we do seriously, but we don't take ourselves too seriously.
Yeah.
And I've heard a really good quote as well, along similar lines, which basically says that you can measure the health of any organization, be it a relationship, a friendship, a workplace, a club, a community. You can measure how healthy that is by the amount of time you spend laughing together.
Yeah.
Right. And it's true what they say. Laughter is the best medicine. I don't know how accurate these like accounts are, but I've heard of people who have recovered from like terminal illnesses just by going on a diet of laughter, right? Just by keeping positive and all that. So I think that takes us nicely to like positive thinking, right? So it's too easy in this world to kind of get bogged down by you see the news and it's all doom and gloom. Do you actively teach a element of positive thinking, or do you include it in your own? Do you have like positive routines in your life to people do positive visualization, positive affirmations? I find it difficult myself to visualize stuff and kind of boring to repeat stuff in my head. But what about you? Do you include that in any part of your life or training?
I do daily. In times BC era, so before children, I used to do meditation every day for about 10 to 20 minutes, and that helped a lot. And visualization. At the moment, I'm doing only about 3 to 4 minutes before I go to sleep. It helps me going to sleep. But I do imagine the stuff which I want to achieve and putting myself where I am. But in our training, I'm not doing with this group so much, but if I've got a sporting orientated group, I do a lot of visualization because it's a great tool in a sporting area, and as well in techniques. You can imagine that perfect trajectory and your body will pick up on it. So there's a way of improving, and just positive thinking is good. On the other side, what I'm not focusing so much on a head positive thinking, but I teach a lot of letting go.
Yeah.
Because I know myself and most of the students I talk to is that we are tormenting ourselves with overthinking things which are wrong. So I incorporate that in my meditation kata. We've got a section when we do 15 minutes of a kind of free flow meditation. So I'm not correcting anybody. And in that way, we're learning to let go. So the main thing is to not be held back by the mistake in a kata. So let's say we're doing a mistake in a kata, and I just tell them, make up your own. Whatever your body tells you, it's fine. Nobody's going to judge you. Nobody cares because they are all focused on their own mistakes. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So we don't, if we're doing the Mawashuke or Kaiten Ugunage or whatever you want to call it, and somebody does it this way, I don't want them to stop and, oh no, I have to start again. I want you to let go. Don't think about it. Feel good. Go to the next movement. That's kind of, after 5 years of doing that with my students, I know that it started to translate into their life. So, they've got the, whatever happened, they think about it, they let go. Because mostly I try two types of meditation. One, when you try to not think about anything. I can't do that. It just annoys me. I'm getting angry inside. And the other one is to let the thoughts come in, but don't pay attention. and that's getting better now. So I'm able to let go and let another thought in, and try to not overthink it, and that helps me in life. But as everybody, I've got the bad days. Usually, you read that on my Facebook, because I found that sharing with people and having that care from people, I know there's a lot of abuse on Facebook, but if you confident in sharing your weaknesses, if that makes sense, you get the feedback, positive feedback. So as you know, you're part of the group. I'm posting, today I feel shit, I feel jealous, or things not going my way, and I've got a wave of people who I trust and like yourself, Mary, Brian, Robert, Rob, whatever his name is, even that little rascal Andy, but they positive, that builds my day. And like the response about my jealousy podcast, you had everybody, including Ian and all the top other instructors, Andy, Mal, John Kitchen, saying, we've got the same. It's, you see us online in kind of the perfect lighting, like a bodybuilder on stage.
Yeah.
But nobody see the struggle that bodybuilder goes through with dieting. Even on that stage, he's, dehydrated, nearly passing out because he's going for a go. But you see the shining, how great he is. But we all got don't give up on yourself, and look and speak to people, and they're gonna help you.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point as well that you said. So with me, I've started posting content online and stuff, and to most people, I'm a relative beginner, and it's kind of, I have that thing now where I'm seeing everybody else posting their content, and I've been watching people for a while, Andy Allen, Chris Hansen, yourself, and I'm going, wow, look at these guys and look at the stuff, and I'm trying to put my own stuff out. And obviously, when you edit together a clip, you only show the best of, right? You're never going to show the mess ups, the training beforehand, because if you're trying to get a concise clip and get a point across before someone loses attention, then you have to get just the good stuff out. But then Ken Knight did an interesting video about the imposter syndrome, right? Which I'm sure you've seen, but it's all about how everybody feels like, how am I qualified to do this? These guys are doing it way better than me. They've been doing it for longer, and it's so easy to get caught up in those thoughts. And it's the same in every, in day-to-day life. You got look at him. He's so ripped, or she's got so much money, or and again, it's that social media culture where you're only seeing. It's rare, like you, to post honest negative feelings online in a constructive way. Everybody's only posting about how good and how wonderful it is. So social media is probably one of the biggest. It's got to be one of the biggest killers of mental health at the moment. What do you think?
Yeah, I do agree. It is. It depends in which groups you surround yourself. So it's like with the practical martial arts, I appreciate that everybody is so supportive. Well, 99% of people are supportive. So they boost you up. So that's a good use of social media. But if you start listening to people on the negative side, it's very damaging.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is, it only happens if you worry about it. At least for me, that will happen. Because I built up to start posting. I'm in UK from 2007. I think I only started to posting 2017. So it nearly took me 10 years to build up the courage that I'm worthy of putting content outside.
Yeah.
And one of I have to credit for that. I know Ian's got a lot of mentioning, but Ian's forum was a super supportive of my first videos. Especially Ian, when you've got somebody who you're looking up to, telling you that, your stuff is good, and not being a copy of Ian, because I'm coming completely from different angle, having the appreciation of the authority helped me to come out from my shell. But I was worried about, every negative comment I try to justify, explain myself to people why I'm doing this, why they might be wrong, but you still get the haters. And I was worried about it, and I had a lot of haters. As you know, I'm keep trying to get my hate project.
Mhm.
And I encourage people to be hateful towards me, and I have none.
People don't want to be they don't want to be encouraged to be a hater, right? They want to do it on their own time. They want to call bullshit, but I don't know. It's the
But,
human mind is a weird thing.
yeah, so I kind of accept it and
Mm.
embrace the hate.
Hmm.
So I don't take it negatively. I take it as a root way of improving me, because there might be a valid point. It's like today, Kenji martial arts,
Yeah.
Kiran. He
Hmm.
posted a video about kicks. He's doing demonstration of the kicks to try to explain that kicking. And the guy who is commenting on my post as well, and going like, "Oh, they are not fast enough. He wouldn't do anything."
Come
And I
on.
just go on record. He have no videos, obviously, because his
Mm.
commenting is easy. So I commented, just okay then. Let's show us yours. We all
Yeah, yeah,
and if he's kicking perfectly, which is very possible, I love to see it. I can learn something from it. So I have
hmm
that mindset of learning from everything. Every
yeah, yeah,
negative comment got it. But what I as well learn, people hate um, arguing with person who doesn't want an argument. So
yeah.
my approach is two ways. Either sorry, this way.
is,
Two ways.
is that one of the ways?
As a third one.
Yeah.
It's either if I don't want to speak with people, I say, yes, you're right, because there is no point with me arguing. Or
Mm.
I try to explain, always super polite and trying to be nice. There's nothing more frustrating for people looking for argument,
Mm.
not getting that argument.
It's like I suppose like verbal judo or verbal aikido where you're using their sort of momentum against them, right? They're coming at you and you're just kind of letting them go past you.
I posted something in the Kyokushin group, and one of the guys come in and said, "Oh, you're a moron, you're an idiot," and stuff. So I explained my point. I said, "Well, if I'm a moron and stuff, what it makes you when you send me a friendship and you
Yeah,
follow?"
yeah. Uh-huh.
And suddenly the guy deleted his account, all the posts gone.
Oh, well, there you go then.
I had 5 messages with him, and I've been super polite, not taking any notice of the swear words at me, just
Mhm.
putting the content which I believe was true. He didn't agree with him. He went to the ground. We call it in Poland to the ground level with his insults and stuff.
Mm.
I stood high, keep my ground, being nice and polite, and the guy is gone and didn't change anything in my life. But that's the key thing, I
No.
think. You have to always think whatever you're posting, whatever happens. Like I had that with my book. I was afraid to put the book out. And I said that to you.
Mm.
If you post that book and it go wrong, what is gonna change it in your life?
Right, yeah,
If
exactly.
nothing,
Mm.
just go and do it. If you're gonna have a loss of income, loss of I don't know, family, then don't do it. But
Mm.
if somebody says, "Oh, this book is shit," you just take it down.
Yeah, exactly.
You can
Oh,
take
yeah.
people down. You've got the really, if you've done something wrong, I've got the really crap videos, especially in the beginning that I'm not happy. If I had let's say 10, 20 comments saying this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, with the merits to it, I just take it down.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. It's everybody opinions like assholes, right? Everybody's got one.
Yes.
And it's um so much of the stuff that we share online is um a lot of people won't like it, but a lot of people will like it. And the people who do like it, they are the people that it's meant for. The people who
Hmm.
don't like it, it's not designed for them, right? So you're gonna have if I post a video up online and one person doesn't like it, but three people do, then it's while it's really easy to get caught up in that one negative person and kind of disregard the three positive ones. Um, that's three people who have liked it, who my message has spoken to, and that's kind of how you like identify your crowd, right? How you identify your tribe. Some people like it, some people don't, and that's fine.
The thing I'm finding with people who are maybe not so experienced is they're forgetting that people are in different stages. So
Mm.
what you're posting now, for example, myself, I was there 3 years ago. I moved on. I'm doing different stuff now. Maybe
Mm.
it's a bit better quality of recording, which I don't think so. But we are in different stages of our martial arts, our editing skills, my presentation. I don't like my presentation, so I'm working on that.
Mm.
But Andy Allen is way ahead because he's been teaching for 30 years professionally. So I can compare with him, me being part-time instructor on presentation.
Yeah.
He had a professional course for his DVDs. He had people how to present. So it's gonna take me a bit longer, but I cannot judge him. Oh, he's so great, and I'm so crap, or you're so bad and I'm so great, without looking at it on which stage we are. A, in martial arts, B, life. Maybe you've got family problems. You don't, like myself. Our child was ill, so for 3 weeks I didn't record anything, and I didn't feel like I want to record it, and I don't want to be the person who is forced to. Or you need to put content every week because somebody's expecting that. Not the way I am.
No. It's like family comes first for us, right? And the thing is, I think a lot of that and a lot of being able to sort of stand your ground in a positive way is kind of knowing where your priorities are at and setting appropriate boundaries based on that, right? So, for example, this weekend, Christian Wiedewald's got the seminar, right? And I've got it's been my son's birthday the other day, so we're taking him for an activity anyway with two of his friends, so I won't be back in time for that. So Christian was super like understanding. Said family comes first. He understands as well, because I said, look, doing a family thing, can't do the martial arts thing today. So perfectly clear, because I know what my priorities are. He knows what my priorities are. So and we're able to have that conversation.
I do like Christian, and I do feel bad because most of his seminars are in a time when I'm putting children to sleep or doing something. So I keep telling him, sorry, mate, I can't do it.
Yeah. But that's the thing, because I think it's something that you and me had both had a little bit of difficulty with over lockdown. Now, that in itself was difficult, to say the least, on people's mental health. But what I found as well was, and I know you do as well, is that it's difficult to focus on yourself and your own mental health when you've got like your children to look out for, your family to look out for, and it's difficult to put yourself first and your self-care. So taking it back to mental health and being sort of a martial arts instructor who we have positive leadership roles in people's lives in a way. So people come to us for a certain reason. How do you manage your martial arts and your self-care while also not neglecting your family and also while managing your children's needs, and so kind of how do you balance it all out and fit in your self-care as well?
I mix it all in. So for example, I was worried, because I was teaching from home in the middle of the day, in the evening, and in the morning, depending on the day. And I was like, well, people will not like my kids running around, right? Because I don't have an outside dojo. I started to teach in garage later on, but I was teaching from our living room, actually children's playroom, and I was thinking how to do it, and it started really bugging me because people not gonna be happy, family not gonna be happy if I not include everything together. So I decided, fine, children are in my dojo. Children gonna be running on me, jumping on me, taking care. And actually people liked it because it shows you as a real person, not that statue who comes in and do stuff. It shows them, shit, he's got a problem, my little one is keep jumping on me. She wants to be on my hand when I'm teaching and stuff. And I just said to people, I understand if you don't like it, then don't come. It's gonna be loud, there's gonna be crying, I need to go and sort out. But we're training, all right? And actually everybody loved it, because I teach a karate fitness on Saturday mornings. And Max joined me, and he's doing the warm-up. And now you're running around, you're doing falling over and being pancake. I couldn't come up with the exercises like that. No. And everybody liked it. And to be honest, my job is to not do the stuff, but to pay attention to people. Yeah. So I demonstrate that I can pick up my daughter on the hand and I can look through the screen what people do and comment. But I think the key for me was to stop thinking about myself, but include everybody. So the daily routine is we're doing most of the things together. And if I have some break when they sleep, it's a bonus.
Yeah. That's it's interesting that you've hit on a good point. I saw an article over lockdown where people are again trying to present their perfect lives over Zoom. So everybody was stuck working from home, training from home, but then they'd have, they'd feel like they have to lock their kids in different rooms. They get peace and quiet, so the kids wouldn't interrupt. But it's a kind of show of humanity and a show we're all in this together. We're all struggling, and kind of the way that you embraced that chaos and kind of went, look, the kids are here. What can I do about it? Right. That's and it's accepting, and it's kind of letting go of the perceptions that people are going to have of it. And it turned out that the perception that it would annoy people was wrong. Right. And I had the same in my sessions with our 2-year-old. She was 2-year-olds don't respect closed doors, right? You can't tell a 2-year-old, please leave me alone for an hour. And there was times where she would come into the room while I was teaching one of the fitness classes, and it happened to be a medicine ball warm-up we were doing. And instead of like going, getting mad and everything, I picked her up and I started using her as a medicine ball, doing side to side and using her for sit-ups. And the people watching, they were loving it. They were like, okay, we're the same thing. We understand what it's like to have a kid, and awesome. Even some classes, I left the camera running once on a Facebook Live, and my daughter was then started play fighting with her, started rolling around doing kind of jiu-jitsu moves, and some of the people were staying around and they thought, wow, it's really cool seeing you interacting like that with your kids. So what we think is going to come across as a negative thing, actually it shows that we are playful, that we're happy, that we're willing to adapt, and that we love our families, right?
So you have to think that how many people in your dojo have got children, the adults?
Most of them.
Yeah, because they bring the kids here, isn't it?
Yeah.
So they
exactly.
totally understand what's happening. They know, they've been through that.
Yeah.
So, my people, I've got, let's say, majority of mine are elderly. But I love when I bring, even before lockdown, if there was a problem with Max was a little bit ill or school wasn't out, I was taking him with me to the classes. He was running around doing stuff, but people loved it. I had a volunteer saying, "Oh no, you go training, and I'm gonna take care of him." So people, children are the joy of a life.
That's it.
Annoying you to the bones,
Yeah.
Everybody been there,
That's it, and it's nice. Again, going back to what you said about bringing Max to class when he was ill, and there's been times before when I've been teaching class and I brought the kids with me because the wife was working, and one of the parents would play. So while their kid was doing class, they would play with my daughter, and even said, "Look, she needs the bathroom. Do you want me to take her while you're teaching class?" It's a big help, and kind of seeing that from other people really helps to understand that we are all in it together. And I think one of the things that you said, we were both expecting or fearing judgment from people rather than kind of expecting the best from our people and expecting the acceptance that they would. Obviously, that's what they were going to give us, right? At the end of the day, nobody's going to be an asshole about it. We only work with people who we like and who like us in return, in theory. So, you tend to see people, hopefully at least people that you like, with a more positive bias than you do a negative one.
Yeah.
Right. So, I think we're coming up on. We've got another 10. Are you good for another 10 minutes or so?
Yeah, I've got all day.
Yeah.
Well, here's one.
Brilliant. So there's just to bring it back then to the sort of mental health thing. I was thinking, can you give any good tips for martial arts clubs? So let's say now you've done a guide about inclusivity in the martial arts, right? That's a free download on your website, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how can we as teachers, if we would say, what can you say? What tips can you give to help promote an inclusive martial arts club and understand people's mental health in integrated training?
I start with the honesty, and it's not only being honest in everything that you say, always truth, but be honest with yourself. What you want to achieve, what you want to teach, how you want to teach. Be honest with your students about the things you cannot do. If I've got a person coming into my dojo, I don't know what they're going through. I can imagine, but I don't know. So if I tell them, listen, you need to explain to me, for safety purposes, what can I expect and how I can help you. When I'm teaching, I need to know what works for you best, because I'm not in you. I don't know what you're thinking about it, what your body like, what injuries you had before, what's you struggling. So that have that honest conversation with people to how I can help you, what you're expecting me to do here, and what I expect from you. If you've got the autism, I would like to know, because then I'm gonna adjust my way of teaching. So the second one is the effective communication. Everybody's communicating different. For people with learning difficulties, you have to speak slower, for example, or maybe use Makaton or use pictograms to help. Same with the deaf person. I had to develop our own simple sign language to communicate effectively, or changing habits. I had a habit because I had a tooth loss, so I often laugh like this or speak like this, yeah. But a deaf person who reads your lips is done.
Yeah,
Is
of course.
no, she or he gonna know what you're doing, talking. As well, doing katas and saying comments this way when a deaf person is there. I caught myself a few times. Alex, she don't mind me saying her name, and turn around going away, and I'm trying to explain something and trying to speak louder to her. It's like thinking to myself, she's deaf, she won't hear. But still the habit of, I'm just going to say louder, it's going to be fine. So just changing that, thinking about communication for the people. As well, that non-judgmental environment. You have to let people be people. Everybody is different, everybody responds differently, and try to put yourself in their shoes. That's kind of my three main ones I follow. And as well, show that you're vulnerable. Show your weaknesses to people, because that makes you real and not idle, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
If people want the inclusion thingy, the best way is to subscribe. Is my giveaway for subscription. And as you know, I'm not spamming. I'm sending one email a month about what we're doing and what's the plans. But if anybody wants to, go to www.lesbubka.co.uk. Shameless plug there.
It's all good. Well, I'll put plugs in the comments as well. So, right, actually, the next thing I was going to ask about was posting any advice for kind of someone who's thinking about posting content online, be it about mental health, be it about martial arts or anything like that. Now, I've got a feeling you're going to say something similar to what you did, about being honest and expressing yourself as you are, because I know you've got you've had challenges before with people presenting themselves online as one thing and being a different thing in real life, right? So you've done a video on this before as well about Les is Les, right? And you got to. There's no point in you appearing one way on video, pristine and polished, and then when you come face to face, it's not how it is, right? So anybody who's thinking about posting content online, because we've both had this kind of watching the other people doing it and want to do it ourselves, what do you think is a good way to kind of, is there a, when you achieve this, then start posting content online, or post content online anyway and see how it goes? What advice could you give for someone, particularly with maybe social issues or social concerns or anxiety, to get their stuff online?
Just do it. So I like the quote. I'm not very good with quotes, so it might be completely different, but that's how I understand it, from the group called Think Media, and they doing advice on YouTube stuff and stuff. And he's always saying, your next video is the best video. Just put yourself out there. Don't take the criticism so much to your heart. Focus on the positives. For me, for a long time, I tried to be a best version of me in my videos, but that's the learning process. I think everybody goes through that because you want to be perceived as better than you are. But then observe what's happening. Try different versions of yourself on camera or posts. Find the one that you are the most comfortable with and go with it. And like you said before, there's only three types of people online: those who are gonna like your stuff, those who are gonna hate your stuff, and those who give a shit. Sorry for language.
It's all good.
Focus on number one, those who like your stuff. Take advice from those who hate, constructive criticism to those who don't like, because there might be something interesting there for you to learn from. And those who don't care, just don't care.
That's it. Yeah. But that's an interesting topic, because we did have an exciting post in the group the other day about people swiping past content without stopping to look at it. And at the end of the day, when I know I've done maybe 15, 20 or so videos right now, but there's been so many of them that I've posted in groups, and people have either done one of those three things, right? And it tends to start off as nobody cares, right? It starts off as that third group. People swipe past your stuff and it's fine. You keep posting stuff online, then people start forming opinions of you. They start seeing you, being more aware of you, and that's when the people who started in the first group will tend to move into one of the other two groups. Most people will still be in the power. They don't give a crap about you, but people who see you more and more and more, then only after 3, 4, 5 seeing your video, that's when they start forming a proper opinion of you, right?
On that subject of people not commenting, I'm not commenting that much on stuff. If I see a video, I watch it and there's yeah, that's right. I don't feel the need to go and if it's a really good one and I really enjoy it, I post it. If it's a okay video but not my way, I'm not gonna go over lengths to criticize it because it's not my way. It's way. You, John, I'm Les. I appreciate what you've done. I might not agree with it, but I don't need to slander you online.
Yeah.
Because I've seen and not commented, it doesn't mean I don't care or I don't like it. Yeah.
That's it. There's as long as we are coming from let's say, right, as long as it's not complete bullshit, right? As long as it's not no touch knockouts, for example, as long as there's some sort of merit to it. There's every video, every opinion, every book you read, every conversation you have, there's something valid in it, right? There's something, whether you completely agree with it, whether you completely disagree with it. Again, this goes back to the criticism conversation. There's something valid in that criticism, right? There's whether you agree with it, whether it's valid particularly to you or not. There's a reason the person is saying that, and it's always worth assessing. But sometimes you see, this wasn't the case of the video that was online, because it just happened to be that it just got missed in the busyness of life and in the swipe of Facebook for me. But sometimes you see a video and you don't like it. Like, for example, no touch knockout videos. They come up on my YouTube feed. I don't like them, but then I don't comment on them either. I try to take the principle of, if you haven't got anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, right?
Yeah, but on that bullshit thing, I kind of changed my mind. I was kind of vigilant, criticizing and not liking it. But then many years ago, I met a good friend now of mine who does non-touch karate completely. And when they stop posting video. When they post a video, they had a lot of shit.
Right.
People don't understand what's going on in there. So they don't doing non-touch KOs and stuff like that. They training for meditation.
Right. Yeah.
Movement. But they're honest with it. You go to the dojo and you said, listen, that's what we enjoy. That's what we do. That's what But if you take the video out of context and throw it to a practical martial arts side, they're going to be slandered because, shit. So I try to withdraw from bullshitting. There are merits to it on videos, like, the guys who go and test this, but, it's a valid thing. They went test it.
Yeah.
They knocked out, fine. Or, they'll probably learn from it. But if they're honest about what they're teaching, let people be people.
Yeah.
Let live and let live.
This is the thing.
And the internet is so easily place where you easily can take things out of context. And present it as a bullshit. You can make anything a bullshit
Oh yeah.
or anything valid. But we should stay how to say it, not criticizing, but objective. That's the word.
Yeah.
Looking at stuff. But going back to what you said about being yourself and stuff. Yeah, how would you feel if I do a perfect video, then you come to my seminar and you see this? It's mis-selling. It's mis-selling. So I stay to uncomfortable way that I am. If people they liking it. If not, well, tough love.
Well, that's the thing as well, though. Is people like you, and I think that the people who do like me for our vulnerabilities and for the fact that we don't, we see the funny side in messing up, right? It's and there's, I think that's one of the biggest things that people could do with almost taken away, and one of the biggest things that one of the lessons that I could express to people is don't be afraid of messing up. Yeah, that's don't the fear of failure. Again, going back to the controlled failure. You're the first time I saw that term, and it's in your karate. I'll shamelessly plug your karate journal now. That's it. It's a great book, and there's a couple of training tips on it, and that's where I first heard the term controlled failure, where people do fail and it's fine, and if they learn it in a safe and friendly environment, and they learn that it's okay to fail in other places as well, that it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's the perspective. If you tell somebody you're a failure, they're gonna go down, and there's a negative connotation to it. If you say you just learn a lesson, it's upwards, isn't it? Because I just learned something, so it's positive note instead of being failure. I use that control failure because we all fail in every part of life. You don't see children falling over and saying, shit, never gonna walk. I'm never gonna walk again. I fell over. I'm a failure. That's it. Done.
Exactly. If we were afraid of failures as kids, we would all be crawling around on all fours now, right? The weirdest thing.
If you look on it, it's in our nature to overcome the failure. And somewhere in life, we're losing that, either being told by parents, you can't do this, you won't be able to do it. And then we start being less of a child and more of a creation of environment. So I try to let go of that. And, with my children, I always say, try harder, whatever you do, just give your best.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then I get angry with them and start shouting at them,
Do it properly. So there's one other thing, again, just while we're on the subject of cool terms that I learned of other people. There's one when I was talking to Chris Hansen on our Instagram feed the other day. Stress inoculation, right? And that's one thing I've heard it before from one of my friends who's a mental health nurse with loads of degrees, that he's a constant student, so he's always he's got 3 or 4 degrees under his belt, but they're all in mental health and nursing. That a lot of mental health concerns these days come from people who maybe haven't been prepared to deal with the stresses of real life, right? And I think that that's one of the things that the martial arts does bring, is that stress inoculation, which is, obviously inoculation being you get healthy doses of stress or healthy doses of something to prevent it from real life, right? Or prevent you from catching anyway, everybody knows what inoculations are. So you get the controlled, safe stress in class, which then sort of translates to other stress in real life. In sparring, if you're used to dealing with, being in someone's pocket and they're beating the crap out of you, you can learn to translate those skills into real life. Then, if you're used to doing jiu-jitsu and you got a 19-stone guy pressing his hairy, sweaty chest into your face, and all you can breathe, that pressure from breathing in the sweat, it's not going to be so stressful to make that phone call, or so.
That's what I don't agree with the modern education system where everybody's a winner. The sport is a great teacher of try harder. I'm not saying being put down. I'm saying to show you try harder. Not everybody can be a winner, and people go into the work and suddenly they say you're fired because you messed up, and it's the end of the world. and it's sad because we could do better as an education system, coaches, and whatever, to teach people that there are gonna be a hard times ahead of you, and you have to put the work, overcome them, or find other way, because it's not always, I tried to be a car electrician for 6 years. Give me a car, I can mess it up like nobody else. Because I didn't really want to learn that. That was the choice I made to go to school, but that wasn't my thing. I enjoy now working on cars. I'm learning again, but at that time was not. So you should be able to find and change direction. But you have to have encouragement and be able to take that failure without being discouraged to do anything else in life.
Exactly. Yeah. It's kind of scary, but I mean, you do have to learn to face your fears, and the fear of failure being chief among them. And if you've got that growth mindset, like, I'm not afraid to fail. Like, I that's a lie. I am afraid to fail, but I know how to manage that fear, because at the end of your comfort, life begins at the end of your comfort zone, effectively, right? That's the only place you're going to grow. Regards to your own mental health, you take care of that mostly through your martial arts training. Is there any tips for, because we've talked about inclusion from the instructor and the school side of things, is there any sort of quick tips that you can give for the individual who wants to take care of their mental health a little bit better? And journaling, or get into any type of quick tips for taking care of your own mental health effectively?
Meditate.
Yeah.
Meditate, and not necessarily you have to sit down and meditate. You can do meditation, whatever. I think they call it now mindfulness.
Yes.
So focus on the things you're doing. Be now. Don't overthink your past. Don't overthink have plans, but don't overthink your thing. Be now. You don't see an unhappy cat.
True. Yeah.
Don't. They are here. They enjoy now. They don't worry what's gonna be tomorrow. We have to plan, of course. You don't want to be just, I don't care what's gonna be tomorrow with my family. You need to plan, but most of your time focus on now and what you're doing, and meditate. Yeah, meditate.
That's I like that. It's one of the things that we do, even with our kids' classes. We do a quick 2-minute breather before a class. You sit down, just focus on your breath. It's like you say, it's not about thinking about nothing. It's about having a sort of a base to return to when those thoughts start taking over, right? And it's gotten to the point I don't meditate every day. I like the thought of it, but I don't get the chance to. But I try to do it whenever I can, get a 10-minute one in. But now I find that anytime that I do get that feeling of stress or anxiety or anything like that, I can just deep breath in, deep breath out, and that kind of helps shift it a little bit. And again, when it comes to posting content online, people not liking it, that's one of the things that I've personally had a lot of. I'm worried about what this people think of me, right? I'm worried about this. The old group that I train with, when I post stuff, and what are they going to think? I think I get it from my mom, because she's big on like, what will this person think? What will they think of you this way? Posting new content online. Well, what if this group of people who has been doing it for longer than me? But when you do meditation, you tend to understand those thoughts, and you tend to see them coming, and you learn to be able to go, yes, hello thought, thank you for warning me, but be on your way, right? And start focusing on other stuff.
Anyway, the bravery in whoever I speak, who have like a Gary Chamberlain, who is a fireman, who used to be a fireman, people who compete a lot, or police officers, army, is one thing. Everybody's afraid. If you're not afraid, there's something wrong with you, and you shouldn't be in dangerous job.
Yeah.
Be afraid and overcome that worry. That's the strength, and that's the bravery, and that relates to everybody. I afraid putting stuff online. I take that leap forward and see what happens. That gives me the strength, because I overcome a fear. More you let fear control you, the worse it is.
Yeah, there's that quote. Is it I'm going to butcher it. I'm good. I'm like you. I remember the essence of quotes, but I can't remember the exact wording of it. But it's once you face the fear, the death of fear is certain, right? So it's fear is all in your head. There's two again, I'm doing the fingers now, but there's two kind of I can't remember the word for it, but the F stands for this, E stands for this. E. So one of them is there's another one. There's forget everything and run. There's another word for the F, but everything and run. Yeah, and then the other one is false expectations. No, false expectations appearing real. Right. So that's what fear is, and it is always, we always tend to have a negative expectation of the future. Right. So okay, I think that kind of brings us nicely to your thing of just do it, just take stuff head on. Right. Yeah. So anything you're afraid of, anything you got anxiety about, do it, and it won't be anywhere near as bad as you thought it was.
Exactly.
Right. So is before we wrap up then, is there anything else on the sort of mental health thing that you, any thoughts that you want to get out there about the mental health?
Yeah, actually, yeah, because I had quite a few messages from people and saying, oh, karate is a therapy. It's not. We are not qualified therapists. We are alongside, is a good tool to support the therapy. The same as a gym, the same as swimming, the same as running. We're just there. But I cannot give advice on mental health, and I shouldn't. Although I have some qualifications, but I am not trained mental health professional. Some people forget about that, because you don't have mental health first aid, it doesn't make you a professional.
Yeah.
And there are mostly, you asked earlier, and I kind of skipped that question about the mental health qualification. Now, all qualifications I've done, it's mostly about 70% of it is illegal stuff. How to not be sued doing stuff.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not happy about it. I think, can I say it? Can I not say it? I'm gonna plug it because I think he's working on it. Mal Sanchez Jones working, or will be working, on a proper course of teaching with mental health, because he does have a qualifications. And he's working in that field for donkey's years. I spoke with him before, during the lockdown, and I think he's going to be starting doing a course for instructors, which is super needed because there's nothing that met my expectations. I was thinking to do the course, but I'm not clever enough for it, to create the course, but I'm not clever enough for it. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. If you want to broaden your knowledge, there's a lot of free courses or funded courses by European Union, which is bad now, but they are still available, I think, till the end of this year. So if you look on the how they call it, in the colleges for mental health courses, they're coming up.
It's one of the things that you posted online the other day, actually. So you're speaking about courses being government funded, but the course that you got government funded last year, I just did a quick look on it to see how much it was online, and it worked out only being £12, right? So for that education, what is £12? Speaking of Mal, I have done an interview with Mal myself as well. I'll post a link to it kind of in the spaces above after. But yeah, so we'll wrap it up there. I really appreciate you taking your time to talk about this. I know it's something that you're super passionate about. Yeah. So let's get your plugs in now as well. Where can people find your stuff if they're interested in hearing more?
Everything is the best to look on www.lesbubka.co.uk, and there's links to all the social media and stuff, although there might be too many links now because I'm narrowing the spectrum of my existence online.
Yeah. That's a healthy thing though as well, right? Too much time online is never good. Brilliant. So I'll put links and everything in the notes, and people can find you later on. But again, thank you so much for your time, Les, and I'll no doubt catch up with you later on.
Take a quick moment to highlight a very valuable note that was raised. Les's point about martial arts being a good supplement for mental health treatment is very important, in that it is just that, a supplement. So if you or a loved one have concerns about mental health, please ensure that you seek professional help. While the health services are struggling at the moment and waiting lists are long, it's important to at least be on the list in order to receive the help. A healthy diet, regular exercise, proper hydration, meditation, they're all great practices for supporting the treatment and help to give you a fighting chance. but they're not the be all and end all. So ask for help, speak with your friends, speak with your family, and get proper professional intervention. Thanks, guys. Stay safe.